Guys, welcome back to Amarvani by Amar. Alright, so this channel is called Amarvani by Amar because Amarvani is taken and I had to have this name. So so we kept it Amarvani by Amar. Alright, cool. So I'm recording this video at pretty late in the evening, and but we gotta read, we gotta have videos every day, right? So I need to figure out how to way to put the rest of the books together after this is over, because Happiness in Your Skin is always almost over, and after that I'll read the rest of my books. I'm really looking forward to reading those books because you write books at a certain context in time. Books have certain context, and when you write those books, they have a certain context, and then when you move on from those books, the context moves, right? So I'm really looking forward to the context I put those books about, and most of them is inspirational content, stuff about life, be it fiction or be it non-fiction, and I think I'll enjoy reading those books, and we'll hopefully learn something about life, about ourselves while reading those books. It's pretty exciting. Cool. And I'll hopefully review some of the books that I'm reading. The biography of Elon Musk right now. He's perhaps one of the most important people that world has ever had, not just like 1,000 years back, even right now. The guy is a genius, and he's achieved in one life what most people don't achieve in multiple lifetimes. So Elon Musk is an inspiration, and not just for me, for people around the world. So hopefully once I'm finished reading that book, I'll give a snapshot of that book also, and I'll do that for every book I read. I think it's a good idea, right? Because this whole channel is about inspiration. It's about doing stuff that matters. It's about finding happiness in life. It's about living a life that matters, right? So that is the whole idea, and it's like, I have just like 75 subscribers on this channel right now, although my other comedy channel is about 16,000 subscribers. But the reason I do this on this specific channel, because I'm trying to build a separate audience, because I realize that people who like intensity and depth in life are different than people who like comedy. Because people who like intensity and depth in life, they are rare. They are a smaller proportion of the world than there are people who like comedy, because comedy is instant gratification. You laugh and you move on. You laugh and you move on. It's like comedy is distraction from life. It's like you enjoy a 1 hour show to distract yourself from your life, and then you move on. That is my problem with comedy, because I'm a comedian. I love it because I get to make people laugh for an hour or 45 minutes or whatever the show duration is, but then they move on to their lives, and I had a feeling that I was not being able to impact their lives for a longer duration, for not being able to inspire them to change their lives for a longer duration, because if we eventually want to live happy lives, we want to make fundamental changes to our lives. And that is the reason I wrote Happiness in Your Skin, because this is not about instant gratification. This is about making foundational changes to our lives, so that we are able to live our days happily. I wish I'd known all of this when I was 20, but I didn't. I was a fool when I was 20. I was an idiot for most of my life. I wish I'd known all this when I was 20 and I had more time on my hands. But I'm 40 now, and that's how it is. In the book The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, there's this beautiful quote where Julian, the name of the guy who actually sold his Ferrari to go to the Himalayas to learn the wisdom, right? And thought says, which I remind myself of all the time whenever I think some of my years just went by doing stuff that was not really important, just following what society does, just following what most people do. And the quote is, which I think all of us should remind ourselves whenever we think we lost our years, is that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now, right? So I remind myself of this quote all the time, and I think I lost those years just because I didn't know all of this earlier. I wish I'd known all of this earlier. I wish I knew what makes a happy life. I wish I knew the things that we're supposed to do that create a happy life, right? So I realized all of this a little late in my life, but then I realized it, and most people I realize don't even realize this for the whole of their lives, and lives just get wasted, man. What's the point of living a wasted life? So yeah, that's where we are. All right, cool. So let's start reading. That was a bit of a distraction, the whole, and I just like this. Just stuff just comes out of my mind, and I thought I'm just interacting with you guys. So cool. So we're reading the 17th chapter. We have about only three chapters left in Happiness in Your Skin, and we'll be done reading this book. And after that, I'll move to the next book. I'll figure out. I think I'll read the book where I have 10 short stories, and it was the first book I ever wrote. That was 10 years back, and I am a better writer than I was then. But then I think that book also has a bit of the kind of stuff I talk about. It also said that you should live life while it matters, right? So I think we'll enjoy reading those short stories. So once we finish Happiness in Your Skin. Alright, cool. Let's do this. So measuring happiness. As a speaker on happiness, I've been asked if there's a way to measure happiness. Measuring happiness is difficult unless people are absolutely honest about their feelings, right? Measuring happiness is difficult unless people are, you got to be really honest to yourself about how happy you feel or how happy you don't feel. If you want to measure happiness, right? So people aren't even honest to themselves, and organizations expect to be honest to them. However, if people were to be honest about their happiness and organizations was to be honest about improving the overall happiness, then we could take a shot at it. It's not just about organizations, although I've written this in context of corporate happiness, but it's also about assessing your own happiness. Here's a basic question you can ask anyone about their happiness, right? And the question is, how happy you are on a scale of 1 to 10. How happy you are on a scale of 1 to 10. And while you say this, let me ask you this question right now. How happy you are on a scale of 1 to 10. Just answer this for yourself, to yourself. I'm sure you got a number, right? And whatever number you got, 5, 6, 7. If it's 7 plus, I think you're really happy. And if it's 7 plus, congratulations, because I think you're really happy. Because most people wouldn't reach 7 plus, because 7 on 10 on happiness on a sustainable basis is an extremely high quality of life. Because the problem that people have with this number, whenever I've discussed this scale with people, is that they say that this number varies, right? They say that one day they could be 6, or one day they could be 7, which is fine. One day could be a little less happier, one day you could be a little more happier, but I guarantee that it cannot vary significantly. For example, one day you can't be 3, and the another day you can't be 8. It won't vary that significantly, right? So if you're really unhappy over a period of, let's say, 1 month, and you answer this question over a period of 1 month, your answer would vary between 1 or 2 points, right? So if you answer 2, which means you're really unhappy, you would for the rest of the month you maybe would go between 2 to 4, right? You won't juggle between 2 to 7, right? So your happiness in a longer time span wouldn't vary significantly on the scale, right? So if you want to answer how happy you are to yourself, just answer this question over 2 weeks. I think even 2 weeks is a significant amount of time to be able to understand how happy or how sad you are, right? So it's a simple answer, and people say it's not easy, it's not possible to measure happiness, and it's stupid. I think it's just stupid to even comment something like it's not possible to measure happiness, when it is possible to measure happiness. Just ask yourself, ask anyone this question who cares, right? Who's honest enough to answer, because you need honesty, right? You can't look at somebody's external life, whatever they have in life. It's not success. Success is bullshit, because you can look at somebody's external life and you could answer if they are happy, right? And because it doesn't make any sense, because happiness is internal, and only the person who's being asked this question can really answer this question, because happiness comes from inside, it's not comes from outside. So it's quite a simple question to answer, and anyone can answer it. When I speak to people, they say the answer would be different every day. I agree. there would be a slight variation. However, it won't be significant. Like I said, the answer will not differ by more than 2 points on a weekly basis. It will not differ because our transient fleeting happiness may change on a daily basis, but the fundamental happiness which we have spoken about in this doesn't fluctuate unless fundamental changes are made. Any person has 3 segments in her life. I say this all the time. Generally, that people have 3 parts of lives, and this is it. I don't know if you can read this. That's a problem. If you take the book inverted, it inverts the text also. So there are 3 parts in anybody's life, right? So that's my entire theory, right? And the theory is that the 3 parts are social, personal, and professional happiness. So there's social, there's professional. 3 parts to your life. One is a personal life, one is a social life, one is a professional life. Let's take a young man called Gary, right? I think this is a longer chapter. We may need to let's see. So let's take a young man called Gary. This is Gary's happiness score. So Gary scores personal life 7, professional life 5, social life 8. So Gary's score on his entire life is 26 on 30. Gary scores 7 on his personal life. He's 25. Has a girlfriend and is moderately happy with her. They have issues to resolve which they are working on, but currently is not at a point where he's considering a breakup. Actually, 7 on 10 is great on personal life. Gary scores 5 on 10 on his work life. He has a dull job. So 5 on 10, right? He has a dull job. It doesn't offer much room for learning and advancement. He doesn't like his boss, who takes the life out of him. He used to like it, but things have changed. The pay hasn't improved and he feels kind of stuck. Gary scores 8 out of 10 in social life. He has great friends, but they're keeping busy. So is he. He believes that he needs to make more time for his friends. At an overall level, Gary scores 20 on 30, which is 67%. He could be way happier if he fixed with his work. This is as simple as that. As long as Gary is being honest to himself. With this numerical analysis, in order to understand Gary more, we can ask him some qualitative questions now. What exactly is wrong with his job? Because he's just scored 5 on 10 on his job, right? If something can improve, do you think you need another job? What would it take to improve the score from 7 to 9 on 10 on personal life? What would it take to score a 10 on social? 10 is very difficult actually. I don't think anybody would be able to rate any parts of our life 10 on 10. It's tough. I don't think anybody would be able to rate 10 on 10 on social life or on personal life or on professional life. I think professional life is possible to rate 10 on 10. I think people who do stuff they love. There are people there people I know who have achieved massive success doing stuff they love. Okay, that's my definition of success. When you achieve massive success doing stuff you love, right? And I think if you ask them what would you rate the quality of their professional life, they would rate it 9 or 10. I think that's what it is. I think it's possible, right? It is possible. Maybe I haven't reached there myself, but I think it's possible. These questions would help Gary in understanding more about his life. There could be areas which are not covered in our definition of personal, social, and professional life. Therefore, we could ask them if there are activities that are important to him and are not covered under the definition of personal, social, and professional lives. Some questions like, is there anything you do, Gary, that's not covered under the scope of personal, social, and professional life? What is that? Why is it important to you? Let's add it to the formula and calculate your overall happiness score again. Our table would then look like this. Personal life 7, professional life 5, social 8, activities beyond the scope of the 3 segments 6. So 28 on 40, right? So this could be used to assess the overall happiness of an individual. Similarly, to assess an organization's happiness index, one need to define the variables quite clearly. So the possibilities could include the below. The statement you need to score on out of 10 are, you could be, I like my work, I love my work, I think my work adds value to the organization, I find my colleagues worthy and admirable, I have fun at work, I look forward to working every day, I'm allowed to balance between my work, social and personal lives, I believe the company cares for me and my family, I tell people about our culture. Total, right? So that's like 8 questions, and the score would be out of 80. And you would get a percentage, you'd get a numerical score, and that will help you understand how happy you are at work. So all these questions can be designed to assess happiness at any level in at work or in personal lives or whatever, wherever you are. So it's important to understand that we can clearly measure happiness. Clearly we can measure happiness. The table needs to be followed up with a qualitative analysis of the happiness of your employee, just like we did it for Gary. People say happiness cannot be measured. If we look at the factors that make people happy, as per this book, there's a way to measure happiness. If you have a partner, you can ask them the same question, right? What would it take to improve the score? Be honest and straightforward. The happiness quotient is the assessment of your happiness, that of your partner, of your family, of your employees, of your friends. Ask people if they are happy. Ask people if they're happy. Care enough to listen. They'll tell you. I promise. Alright, cool. So that's the end of the chapter. That's the chapter summary. Happiness can be measured if people are in a space where they will give fair and just answers to the questions of happiness. A simple question which asks people to rate their happiness on a 1 to scale can help identify areas and make them happy, which takes them away from this happiness. This method can be applied to personal happiness, professional happiness, social happiness. If the respondent believes that his life is beyond personal, professional, social markers, then add a few more evaluation parameters if needed. Alright, great. I think actually we've come to the last chapter, and we'll read this tomorrow. We'll read the last chapter tomorrow. There are 18 chapters in the book and there are 17 that we've done. So that's the end of the chapter. Can we measure happiness? And the answer is yes. So go ahead and do it. Bye.